MCU's biggest gamble on its future. Robert Downey Jr. is reprising his role, is recasted in the MCU. The thing he started with Kevin Feige and Jon Favreau almost 15 years ago, he's being recasted as Victor Von Doom. Crazy stuff. So, allow me to explain. It's been confirmed at Comic-Con yesterday, Saturday, that Robert Downey Jr. will be recasted in the MCU and will be doing the role of Victor Von Doom in the next two Avengers movies, one being Avengers Doomsday and the other being Avengers Secret Wars. Very, very interesting stuff. Before I get into depth about it, I want to give you guys some context. For those that don't know, why the huge change in direction from Marvel, because it was already confirmed that for the Avengers, the next villain was going to be Kong, and that the next Avengers movies were going to heavily involve Kong, Jonathan Majors. You see, a couple of months ago, news surfaced that allegations against Jonathan Majors, the actor playing Kong, were raised for abuse, for whatever it was. These allegations were taken very seriously, as they should, and Marvel was left in a gray area. What move to do next? You see, for Marvel, they had a couple of moves. Either wait and see what was going to happen in the court hearings and whatever, or just completely disregard the MCU they had planned and go back to formula and go back to seeing where it goes. Well, they did the latter, and for a good thing. You see, for the MCU, this was the biggest gamble because it meant to draw back on the idea that Quantumania has already started. For the MCU, this doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. The latest movies kind of hit and miss, to be honest. Quantumania not doing very well, also having the main villain as Kong. The problem I think that Marvel kind of figured out here was that it's just better to completely disregard that, completely unlink themselves with the actor, with the allegations, and just start fresh. And what better way to start fresh than to bring back one of the greatest to ever do it, one of the guys that were pioneers of the MCU, and to bring back that and to give it a new spin. Because we have never seen this guy as the bad guy, unless you watch Oppenheimer, where he did really good.
Own the atomic bomb. He wanted to be the man who moved the earth. He talks about putting the nuclear genie back in the bottle. Well, I'm here to tell you that I know J. Robert Oppenheimer, and if he could do it all over, he'd do it all the same. You know he's never once said that he regrets Hiroshima? He'd do it all over. Why? Because it made him the most important man who ever lived.
But there is proof that Robert Downey Jr. can handle a new and a very challenging part as Victor Von Doom. And for a lot of people, the announcement that Robert Downey Jr. was going to do Victor Von Doom came as a big surprise and not really necessary in the good way, mostly because Cillian Murphy was kind of right there as this big villain that could have been very, very good. Obviously, it didn't happen like that. And to be honest, completely honest, it doesn't have to be a bad thing. You see, Robert Downey Jr. coming back as Victor Von Doom is just so intensely a gamble. It's such a crazy take that, honestly, it's just so interesting to see how it pans out. Because from now on, all eyes are on Marvel. And this movie really has no shot at being bad. Because if this movie does bad, then that's pretty much the end of the MCU. But if this movie does good, oh my god, is it going to be a very nice surprise. Still leaning into the multiverse thing. And honestly, better now than ever that Deadpool and Wolverine came out. It's doing really good. It's going to bring a lot of money to the MCU. and it's going to make a little bit of a proof of concept, the multiverse. And what better way to do the multiverse than with comic book fun silliness? Why better way to do it than with Robert Downey Jr. as Victor Von Doom? You know, it's really crazy to see the spin and the unexpectedness of this news, but it's really going to be amazing to watch. People are going to keep their eyes open for this movie more than now. Comic book nerds like me, fans, we're very, very excited to see how this is going to pan out. And now the Fantastic Four movie also has a lot of stake, since it's probably going to set up in some form Victor Von Doom. Obviously, Victor Von Doom being the big villain for not only the Fantastic Four, but the Avengers Secret Wars storyline that they're doing for the last Avengers movie. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how it pans out. It's such a big gamble. It's so crazy that it might work out, and it might work out really well. So, like I said, big make or break moment for the MCU. If this doesn't do well, a lot of people are going to turn their heads, and the MCU is going to be. But if it does really well, it's going to be back to the dominance that the MCU saw in the 2010s. And very interesting to see this news come out and seeing Robert Downey Jr. so happily announce, and obviously getting that Marvel check, you know, because those checks are going to be really, really nice, I probably think. Well, keeps the fans happy, makes Marvel money, makes Robert Downey Jr. money. We're all happy. Good. Everybody wins. Thank you for watching.